My name is Madli Linder, and I come from Estonia, and I work for government in an institution that is called Environmental Board, and I deal with protected species and alien species. First, in general, about alien species legislation in Estonia. The general rule in Estonia is that, according to Nature Conservation Act, is that it is prohibited to introduce live specimens of alien species into the wild, in the nature. The exception is some forest trees. The second act is the regulation of Minister of Environment. This regulates species that are likely to disrupt natural balance, and this is our blacklist. It has 43 species, this list, and contains also giant hogweed and Sosnovski's hogweed that I'm going to talk about today. And Sosnovski's hogweed is also in the list of EU regulation. According to the Nature Conservation Act, controlling the abundance of non-native species that are released in the wild is organized by my institution, by Environmental Board. About the alien hogweeds, giant hogweed and Sosnovski's hogweed are the main problems in Estonia. First records of the presence of the species date back to the 18th century, and the hogweeds were brought to Estonia for ornamental purposes and for fodder purposes. Extensive introduction started in the 1980s, and it lasted 1960s, and it lasted until 1980s. First project for mapping of the species started in 2003, and from 2005 the first strategy for eradication of alien hogweeds was conducted. And systematic eradication works have been implemented in Estonia since 2005. We have compiled national management plans for alien hogweeds. First was compiled in 2005, and the last for the years 2011 and 2015. About the organization. Eradication works are coordinated by Environmental Board. I am the project manager, and 8 specialists over Estonia coordinate the local works. When we plan the works each year, we don't ask direct permissions from landowners. We notify public through media and web applications. Sometimes we have had problems by that we go to private lands without permissions, but not too many. And in case of problems, we stop the works. For doing the works, procurements are conducted by my institution and almost each year. And as a result, the price of eradication works is usually about 200 to 300 euros per hectare. And from year to year, it has been decreasing. For contractors, if they use herbicides, they have to get the permission, special permission from agricultural board that allows them to use herbicides. Funding. Last 6 years was funded by European Union Regional Development Fund, and we have spent 2.35 million euros during last 6 years. This year and in the first years, we got money from Estonian Environmental Investment Center. That is also state money, but it comes from environmental charges that are channeled into the environmental projects of Estonia. And this year's budget is about half million euros. The measures we use is mainly treatment with glyphosate-based herbicides and also digging. Herbicides, we use herbicides because it's the easiest and cheapest way to get rid of the hogweeds. And it's carried through 1 to 3 times during vegetation period, starting from April or May. And the first round must be carried through in May, usually, not later. When herbicides are used correctly, they are relatively effective. It takes about 4 to 10 years to get rid of the hogweeds and seed banks. But herbicides are prohibited in water protection zones and also in organic farming areas, and also in some protected areas. In smaller colonies, we use digging, and in organic farming areas and in near water bodies. And it also has to be done 1 to 3 times during the summer, because new plants may arise. And it's very effective if it's done correctly, and but it's much more expensive than using herbicides. And in some places you can't dig because of the soil, or yes. Some other methods are also used, are mowing, plowing, collection of flower heads and grazing, but not very widely. Sometimes, these are often preferred by landowners. The distribution of alien hogweeds. We have a database of alien hogweeds that we review every year, and it has about 3,000 colonies or stands of hogweeds. One colony may be one plant or 30 or 40 hectares large. And 99% of this mapped or known area of alien hogweeds is under eradication works in Estonia. Actually, all the colonies that we know, we manage, unless there are some problems with landowners. And it's the total area is about 2,200 hectares this year. It seems like there's no effect at all of our works because the total area is rising from year to year. This year the area is a little bit smaller than last year, but from the year 2005 it has increased all the time. But we think that the reason is that we haven't discovered all the colonies yet. We map the colonies if someone notices us, and then it goes to the database. But maybe now the rise has stopped. We hope so. By now, about 600 colonies, it's about 300 hectares of hogweed colonies can be counted as exterminated or fading, only a few plants. And all the sites are also surveyed annually. We have done some annual estimations also, and these have shown that the effectiveness of the eradication works, the density of hogweed stands takes at least 4 to 5 years to decrease in density significantly. And the most important thing is to and the key for success is the consistency and correct works of eradication, because if even only 1 year is the work is done incorrectly, then the seed bank is gets new seeds again, and then we can count it as a new colony again. And the seed bank is really persistent.